Hello, and welcome to Build to Brand, the podcast where we decode how companies, culture, and conviction come together to build belief over time. I'm Tanvi, your host, and today we are not starting with a corporate earnings call, we are starting with a bass drop. Because somewhere between Linkin Park chorus, a Budweiser in hand, and a crowd screaming lyrics in unison, brands have quietly found their new marketing playground. This episode is about Lollapalooza India, but more importantly, it's about why CMOs are listening very carefully. Let's get into it. If you've been anywhere near Instagram, Book My Show, or a group chat called Jan Long Weekend Plans, you already know this. Lollapalooza India 2026 is not just a music festival, it's a cultural event. 2 days, 4 stages, 40 plus artists. One of Mumbai's most iconic venues, the Mahalakshmi Racecourse. January 24 and 25. And yes, it's big, but more importantly, it's intentional. The lineup alone tells you what kind of crowd this festival is courting. You've got Linkin Park making what feels like a historic moment for Indian fans. You've got Playboy Cardi tapping straight into Gen Z's sonic universe. You've got Kehlani, Youngblood, Lani, Callum Scott, Fuji Kaze, artists who dominate playlists, not just charts. And then there's the Indian lineup: Bloodywood, Harsh Kale, Ankur Tiwari, and Ov Savera. This isn't token representation. This is global and local sharing the same stage. Literally. But Lollapalooza India isn't just about who's performing. It's about how the festival is designed. 4 parallel stages mean constant motion, art installations scattered between sets, food zones that feel curated and not commoditized, dedicated experience areas that feel like mini worlds within the festival. You don't attend Lollapalooza, you move through it. And that's important because movement equals discovery, discovery equals memory, and memory is where brands want to live. Ticketing itself reflects this layered experience. You are not just buying entry, you are choosing how you want to belong. General admission for the crowd energy, comfort passes for those who want breathing room, VIP and platinum tiers with lounges, viewing decks, and concierge services. From a branding perspective, this is gold because it allows segmentation inside the same event without fragmenting the culture. Everyone feels like they're a part of something big, they're just experiencing it differently. And that's Lollapalooza India in 2026. A festival, yes, but also a carefully architected cultural system. To understand why Lollapalooza works so well for brands today, you have to go back where it started. Early 1990s, alternative rock, counterculture energy. Lollapalooza wasn't born as a brand platform, it was born as a rebellion. Perry Farrell, frontman of Jane's Addiction, didn't want a clean corporate concert tour. He wanted a traveling circus of sound, art, politics, and expression. The early Lollapalooza lineups were messy in the best way. Rock bands, industrial music, hip-hop, performance art, environmental activism booths. It wasn't polished, it was plural. And that pluralism became the DNA. Over time, as music consumption shifted, Lollapalooza evolved without losing its core identity. From a touring festival to a destination festival, from Chicago to Berlin, Paris, Sao Paulo, and eventually India. Here's the key thing. Lollapalooza never tried to be exclusive, it tried to be representative. It mirrored youth culture instead of dictating it. And that's why it survived waves of musical change. Grunge to EDM to hip-hop to genre fluid, everything. And that's why brands didn't ruin it when they entered. Because Lollapalooza didn't sell out culture, it invited brands to participate in it. There's a difference. Now let's get to the real story. Why is Lollapalooza music to CMO ears? Because for a brief, glorious weekend, brands get something that advertising rarely delivers anymore: undivided voluntary attention. Let's talk about the brands involved and what they're really buying. Nivea. Nivea's presence at Lollapalooza India 2026 is fascinating. This isn't a brand you immediately associate with music festivals, which is exactly why it works. Instead of pushing products, Nivea leaned into participation. Personalized music moments, festival personality mapping, interactive booths that turn self-care into self-expression. From a CMO's lens, this is smart. They are not selling cream, they're attaching the brand to how you feel about yourself at one of the most emotionally charged environments possible. That association lasts longer than any 30-second ad. Budweiser's relationship with music is not new, but at Lollapalooza India, they've gone deeper. Budweiser Brew District isn't just a bar, it's a zone. Music, programming, grooming stations, viewing decks, food pairings. This is Budweiser saying, we are not sponsoring the party, we are hosting part of it. For CMOs, this is the shift from logo placement to cultural ownership. Budweiser isn't interrupting the experience, it's embedded in it. Now moving to H&M. H&M's logic is almost unfairly simple. Festivals are fashion shows without a runway. At Lollapalooza, H&M doesn't just sell clothes, it curates identity. Interactive style zones, album cover-inspired experiences, beauty activations that blend music, movement, and self-image. From a brand strategy point of view, H&M isn't chasing trends. It's documenting them in real time. Every outfit clicked, every reel posted, and every tag mirror selfie. That's cultural data and cultural relevance in its rawest form. Airbnb's play is subtle and brilliant. They're not competing with hotels at Lollapalooza. They're expanding the festival beyond the venue. Artist-led experiences, city trails, behind-the-scenes access. Airbnb is telling a bigger story. Lollapalooza isn't just something you attend, it's something you travel into. For CMOs, this is brand storytelling at ecosystem level. They're not owning a booth, they're owning the context. Meanwhile, Diageo's approach is quieter and intentional. They understand that festivals are emotional accelerators. So instead of loud branding, they focused on quality of engagement. From a CMO perspective, this is brand maturity. Not every impression has to shout. Some have to stay. Here's the truth. CMOs aren't at Lollapalooza because it's trendy. They're there because traditional advertising is losing its grip. Audiences skip ads, mute commercials, scroll past brand posts, but they don't skip experiences. Lollapalooza offers time spent, not impressions, participation, not passive viewing, memory creation, not message delivery. And yes, it costs money. Lead sponsorships run into crores. Secondary partnerships aren't cheap either. But what brands are buying isn't reach. They're buying cultural relevance. They're buying the right to be present when people feel most alive. And that's priceless. So when we ask why Lollapalooza is music to CMO ears, the answer isn't just about scale or star power. It's about something deeper. It's about brands finally understanding that culture isn't a channel, it's the product. And festivals like Lollapalooza aren't marketing opportunities, they're belief-building machines. If you enjoyed this episode of Build a Brand, share it with someone who still thinks branding is just logos and taglines. Because the real work is happening somewhere between the stage, the crowd, and the moment you didn't want to end. I'm Tanvi, and this was Build a Brand.